She adopted a cat who refused to be held, refused to be moved, refused to sit in laps. For 3 months, he watched her from a distance of exactly 4 feet and made very clear that contact happened on his terms only. Everyone told her he was cold. Everyone told her he was unaffectionate. But at 2:31 a.m. on a Wednesday in November, that same cat refused to let her go, and she finally understood what he had been doing the whole time. There are cats that tolerate you, and there are cats that make very clear from the first moment that tolerance is the most you are going to get. Oliver made this clear on day 1. Megan Calloway was 34 years old when she brought Oliver home from Maplewood Cat Rescue on a rainy Saturday in October. She had been warned. The shelter coordinator, a woman named Patrice, had used the word particular 3 times in the same sentence. Oliver was, Patrice explained carefully, a cat with preferences, strong ones, consistently expressed ones. "Does he like being held?" Megan asked. Patrice looked at Oliver. Oliver looked at the wall. "He likes being near people," Patrice said. "Holding is a separate conversation." Megan found out what that meant approximately 4 minutes after getting home. She picked Oliver up the way you pick up any cat. 2 hands, confident, gentle. Oliver went completely rigid. Not aggressive, not scratching, just still, in the particular way of a creature that has decided this is happening to him and he is choosing not to dignify it with a reaction. She put him down after 7 seconds. He walked to the corner of the couch, sat down, and looked at her with his green eyes in a way that communicated, without any ambiguity, that they would not be doing that again. They did not do that again. The rules became clear within the first 2 weeks. Oliver could be near Megan, Oliver could sit beside her, Oliver could follow her from room to room at his preferred distance of approximately 4 feet, which he maintained with the precision of someone who had measured it. What Oliver could not be was picked up, repositioned, moved from a spot he had chosen, or touched without prior notice. Prior notice, Megan discovered, meant waiting for Oliver to approach first. He approached on his terms. A slow walk across the couch, a deliberate head press against her hand, a specific chirp, one short syllable, issued once, that meant he had decided contact was acceptable for the next 30 seconds or so. When the 30 seconds were up, he would stand, stretch, and relocate. Megan's friend Jessica came over in the second month and spent 20 minutes trying to get Oliver to sit in her lap. Oliver spent 20 minutes sitting 18 inches away from Jessica, watching her efforts with the calm detachment of someone observing a social experiment that was not going well. "He hates me," Jessica said. "He doesn't hate you, he just hasn't decided about you yet. How long does that take?" Megan looked at Oliver. Oliver looked at the window. "He'll let you know," she said. By month 3, Megan had stopped trying to hold him. She had accepted the terms. Oliver's presence was constant, on the desk while she worked, on the bathroom counter while she got ready, at the end of the bed every night watching the door with his green eyes until she fell asleep. He was there. He was always there. He just had opinions about how there worked. She had stopped finding it cold. She had started finding it honest. "I see you're still watching and still haven't subscribed. That honestly stings a little. Hit subscribe. You'll want to see what happens next." On a Tuesday in March, Megan had a bad day. The specific kind of bad that doesn't have one cause, a collection of small things that stack up over the course of 8 hours until the weight of them is unexpectedly heavy. She came home, dropped her bag on the floor, and sat down on the couch and just stayed there. Oliver walked in from the bedroom. He looked at her, she looked at him. He jumped up onto the couch, not beside her, which was his usual position, but onto her lap. All 12 pounds of him directly on her lap, which he had never once done in 3 months of living with her. Megan went completely still. Oliver tucked his front paws under his chest, closed his eyes halfway, and began to purr. She didn't move for a long time. On a Wednesday in November at 2:31 a.m., Oliver woke her up. Not by purring, not by chirping, by standing on her chest and making a sound she had never heard before. Low, insistent, the sound of something that had decided waiting was no longer an option. She was up in 30 seconds. Oliver was already at the bedroom door, looking back at her. She followed him to the kitchen. The window above the sink was open. She had left it cracked before bed, just an inch for the air, but the latch had shifted. The window was now open wide enough for a person to put their hands through, wide enough for someone standing on the fire escape to reach the lock. Megan stood in the kitchen for a moment, not moving. She looked at the window. She looked at the fire escape outside it. She thought about the fact that she had gone to bed at 11:15 p.m. and had been asleep for over 3 hours. She thought about what 3 hours was enough time for if someone had been watching the building and waiting for lights to go out. She closed and latched the window. Then she checked the front door, the chain, the deadbolt, the handle. Then every other window in the apartment, one by one, in the dark, while Oliver followed her from room to room at his usual 4-foot distance, calm and unhurried, as if this was simply the next item on an agenda he had already prepared. When she was done, she stood in the kitchen and looked at him. Oliver was sitting on the counter, watching her with his green eyes, completely calm now that the thing had been handled. She reached out slowly, put her hand near him, waited. He pressed his head into her palm and held it there. The cat who refused to be held, the cat who had rules about contact and proximity and 30-second limits. He held her hand in the kitchen at 2:31 a.m. until her breathing slowed. Today, Oliver is 4 years old. He still has rules, he still maintains his 4-foot distance, he still issues one short chirp when contact has been approved and removes himself when it hasn't. But twice since that November night, on evenings when Megan has come home carrying something heavy and invisible, Oliver has walked directly to her lap and stayed there without being asked. No chirp, no 30-second limit, no relocation. Just weight and warmth and the quiet certainty that this was exactly where he had decided to be. He never explains it. He doesn't need to. Some things don't require explanation. Some things just require a cat who has been paying attention all along. If you have a cat who loves you entirely on their own terms, drop their name in the comments. And tell me, do you think cats choose when to show up? Or do you think they always know and just decide when we are ready? I want to hear what you think.